Good morning. Welcome back to meetrabbits.org. Today I'm doing a 10-week weigh-in on the Champagne d'Argents. So we will see if they're hitting the mark on the growth rate. So typically a lot of people will actually process at 5 pounds live weight, which the goal is to hit that between 10 to 12 weeks. So ideally with this group, that's kind of a benchmark that I'm going for. Again, I typically process mine at 16 weeks. We like a bigger carcass. The meat's a little bit firmer, which I actually prefer. When we did do some smaller animals, it's actually kind of tears. It's a little bit, mushy may not be the right way to describe it, but it is a softer meat at that point. I grind a lot. I cut a lot into like stew meat and meat cubes. But even I've used the rabbit meat every which way at 16 weeks and even older than that. And I've never found it to be tough. So sure, maybe it would be a little more tender, but some people actually say that it comes off more to them as mushy at an earlier age. You can tell I'm kind of a fan of growing out a little longer, but either way, this will give me information so I'll know where we're at 10 weeks, how quickly we're hopefully hitting that 5 pound mark. And then as we go on, they'll only continue to grow from there. I do find that you get a steady growth rate, usually around a half a pound a week through 16 weeks and even beyond that. So it's not as if we're not growing more meat on them. We definitely are. It's just, where people like the efficiency, the meat type, and, not to get too far into that, that's kind of something you need to try out and decide on your own. But a 5 pound would be considered a fryer weight. So want to see where they're at today and continue keeping track of this litter, see how their growth rate is, see if the breed overall is living up to my expectations. Now, this is our first litter. It's a litter of 4 after a high heat summer. I've talked about that before too. I'm not disappointed with the litter size. Both the Champagne does are due next week, so I'm hoping that, especially Peony will see some increased litter size. The 2 litters that were born yesterday were from those 2 Champagne bucks. I crossed them with a Californian, mostly because I kind of wanted to get their breeding going, those bucks, and get them well proven as proven bucks, just so that I can. Also very curious to see what that cross does. New Zealand's and Californians crossed into the growouts make a really excellent meat rabbit with good meat and a great bone to meat ratio, and also a quick growth that comes from the New Zealand end of it. So I'm curious to see if we can kind of replicate that by crossing Champagnes and the Californians. But today, again, it's all about seeing where the Champagnes are. So I'm going to get to that, and I'll probably also, as I put them back in the cages, double check that sex, that we did a check on the sex last time and see if they still are what I think they are. So I'm going to turn the scale on here and go get the first rabbit out of G8. You'll get to see their really crazy coloring as the silver comes in. They're kind of nutty colors right now. Yeah, so here we have a 5 pound 8 ounce, which is awesome. We're there at 10 weeks on this rabbit. We are there at fryer weight. Again, I expect to have a continued consistency and good growth. This is on 16% pellet and hay, which is great because that's one of the cheaper and more efficient feed options. And let's see if I can get a sex. A lot of fur down here this time of year. And that is still looking like a doe. Really kind of hard to see. There's a lot of fur down here. It's winter, everybody's got a good thick coat. They're silvering out, so they're getting that adult coat. But I do believe that we have a 5.5 pound doe at 10 weeks. And that's awesome. I can't complain about that at all. Even by the BHA rabbitry chart, 5.5 to 6 pounds would be an excellent rate of growth. 5 pounds would be a good rate of growth, and some rabbits may not even hit that at 10 weeks, may take them more towards 12. So we're in good shape here. Hello. Another one with a crazy polka dot coat going on. And we're even bigger here. This is 5 pounds, 12 ounces. So certainly in that excellent rate of growth. See if I can double check the sex. Gonna put them back down on their back. Go each side of the genitalia and push a little firmly, and this is definitely a buck, which is what we thought last week too, so that's great. When I handle rabbits, taking them out of the cage, is I very gently grab at the scruff, not hard, don't want to pull that, not trying to harm them, but just to kind of keep a hand on them so they can't escape. And then a hand under the belly. I often will try and scoop up those legs because it's actually easy to catch the legs in the wire of the cage, and that is something we definitely don't want to do. We don't want to be breaking any legs, taking anyone out. And here we've got a 5'3". And this was the smallest rabbit all along. So 5'3" puts this rabbit between good and excellent growth rate, probably the runt of the litter, but we didn't lose any runts, so and still nothing to complain about, so I have no complaints about this rabbit either. Just kind of always going to bound to get a range, and everybody's looking like they're in a good to excellent range. And this one is definitely a buck. I wish I could help you see that more. It's not going to, but he really popped right out. As they get older, when you do the sex changes, instead of kind of the taco and burrito, the bucks as they get larger and older will usually pop right up. The penis will actually pop up, and it's kind of a curved, almost like a little horn, pops up, and it becomes much more obvious. And then, you know, in the weeks ahead, their testicles are going to drop, and it's going to become really pretty obvious. Much more obvious in the summer because there's less fur. They tend to kind of lower the testicles to cool them off. Sometimes she'll just come out and you'll find it all hanging out there. thing I have noticed is rabbits do not like feeling like they're flying through the air. So when you're carrying them, you know, tuck them, do a football hold, tuck them. If you cover their eyes, they're less likely to freak out. They're you know, not as nervous about what's going on around them. So this is our last one. And this one is the one who silvered out the fastest. You can see the face now. We're getting some silver on the face, and that black is gonna move up till we just have kind of a top hat. It's kind of funny to me how much more quickly this one silvered out. I don't know if that means that maybe this rabbit's maturing a little faster. Maybe just a thing, maybe just a thing that happens. So, but interesting, fun to watch. Yeah, and as I suspected, this is our largest of the set at 5 pounds, 13 ounces. So really an excellent rate of growth here. Just jotting these down on my rabbit tracker to keep track of everybody. You know, looks like in the last 2 weeks, we have had a solid 1 pound gain or more on everybody. So that tracks with that gaining a ½ pound live weight per week. This one, again, I wonder if that faster rate of growth, maybe maturity, is kind of why she's silvered out more. Hopefully it's a doe. That's what I have her marked as, which would be pretty great too. I honestly hadn't really intended on keeping any of these back for breeders, but I may consider keeping her, or at least holding her back until we see what the next litters do, and then making some decisions, kind of a hold back that with the potential to be kept as a breeder or not. My pairs are unrelated pairs, so I will be able to kind of cross up and mix again there. Honestly, I'm having a little bit of a hard time telling today. Yep, now I've got her down there. She looks like a doe. So here she is. Sorry, I know I've got you in a bad position. I don't like that. Say hi to the crowd. Tell them how beautiful you are. What a great grower you are. So that's it. That's our weigh out. That's our results. Our smallest is 5 pounds 3 ounces, and our largest is this doe here at 5 pounds 13 ounces. I can't complain about those rates at all. This is 10 weeks, solidly hitting 5 pounds or more at 10 weeks. You know, some of them, like her, she probably was ready a week ago. Probably 3 out of these 4 were ready a week ago if you were going for a 5 pound fryer size. So 9 weeks feed efficiency, that's an excellent rate. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe so that you can see and get notifications about these guys and the next updates, see how they continue and how the next litters continue. You know, it's great to have this information, but really the telling will be over time as we get more and more litters to go. So come on over to the website, see what we've got over there for you. And like I said, like, subscribe, and share. We appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.